Hey everybody, welcome to Trading with ThinkScript. My name is Mike Fairbourn. It is great to be back with you as we meet each and every time, same place this week, where we do talk about developing and using some of the tools, the ThinkScripting tools on the platform to help us with scans, to create different ideas for indications for the Market Watch tab and others as well. We'll dive into, and we trade with those as well. But I'd like to welcome all of you here. I do know we have some first timers here today. I saw a number of names that I hadn't recognized in the chat. So welcome to all of you. I just want to give you a heads up on what we do each and every week. Of course, always welcome back to our usual suspects here. Great to have you all on board. Folks, I'm joined in the chat by a good friend and colleague of mine, Kevin Horner. You'll see him in the chat as KH, Kevin Horner. And you can follow us both on X. He's posted that down below. Kevin Horner CS. He's posted some great stuff on there. Consider giving him a follow. Myself as well. My handle is Mike Fairbourn CS, where we do post market-related content, financial-related content, is among other things. But with that today, folks, I did want to talk today specifically about building 3 simple momentum-type scans that we can do very, very quickly here for beginners, but tapping in to really the power of ThinkScript to help us find those very, very quickly, which would otherwise take a very long time. So we're going to do not just 1, 2, but 3 of those today. So really trying to help you guys get started on this and tap into the tools, beginning to find some of these setups today. All right, so with that, folks, let's turn it over to some disclosures to get the show on the road here. All right, information here is for general information purposes only and should not be considered an individualized recommendation. Now, the paper money software application is provided for educational purposes only. Backtesting results are hypothetical. There is no guarantee that the same strategy implemented today would produce similar results going forward. Now, investing does involve risk, including for some products more than your initial investment. Past performance of any security or strategy does not guarantee future results or success. A quick look at some of the futures disclosures below. Sometimes we'll look at those. We do not trade futures in this class, but they are there as just a reference to the charts. All right, well, with that, we're going to dive right on into this head first, folks. All right, so there we go. All right, hey, just taking a look at the markets, we know we are dealing with the down day, and we talk about this just briefly at the beginning of each discussion that we have, and that is the fact that a lot of times just referencing general market direction can be helpful in designing the kind of setup that you want, because as we're looking at momentum, potential breakouts today as well, with that momentum, we're going to be, you want to always kind of factor in, where does the market stand relative to what I want to be looking at? Is it bullish? Is it bearish? You can see up top here, we've been dragging for a little bit, right around that 7,000 level, just using the S&P 500 index as an example, folks. A pretty big run here off the bottom, and you have to say, we've held ground pretty well over here. Now, oftentimes, if you can hold ground after a big run like this, a lot of traders will say that is a positive. They'll consider this to still be pretty much bullish, right? They're going to say, yeah, we're holding a lot of our gains, and maybe prices can resume higher. So, in other words, we could be developing momentum trades to the downside or to the upside. Looking at the market, though, right now, I know on a short-term basis, yeah, we zoom into this candle here, we're coming back off of that 7,000 level once again. It's a pretty big bar. There's no doubt about it, to the downside. There could be some shorter-term momentum traders, and this, what I'm going to show you today, could be used on an intraday time basis as well, these momentum scripts. But in addition, I just wanted to state that keeping an eye on this big picture, you might design something possibly more bullish. The NASDAQ, well, a lot of the technology companies have been coming down. We have yet to really make a lower, there's a lower high, but a lower low. Not so much yet, still kind of in a sideways channel, but technology, absolutely, you guys don't need me to tell you this, it has been a bit weaker. But yeah, you could be looking at maybe technology stocks if you get a breakdown here, as you devise some of these ThinkScripts. Okay, to take a look at here. Now, a quick note, each and every week, for those of you just joining, I do try to address some of the topic requests that we had the prior week, and I did get a couple that I want to throw out here for you and just address. This is a great example because you guys can tap into a ThinkScript right now that's being requested. So in the Market Watch tab, under quotes, you can see that we do have, and it says waiting. This is the NASDAQ 100, and we can actually look at, whatever basket of securities we want very, very quickly. Just one click down to the public folder and select. Yeah, I mean, you got the S&P 500 there as well. It's taking it just a second to load up here, but we've got a 1 week. And the question yeah, I saw the 1 year column results. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out and add in our 1 year, which I've got right there. And what this does is it just provides us a 1 year perspective on all of this, the performance of all the stocks, how they've been doing over a 1 week, a 1 year, whatever the case might be is. In fact, I'm going to do this. I'll put them both on, but we're going to go to a smaller index just so we can load these up a little bit quicker. Much smaller one might be the Dow. Show you how to do that under the public folder right there. Dow Jones Industrial Average, there's 30. These should be loading up a little bit quicker, but we've got a 1 year percent. I do have them colored there so you can see them very quickly, and a 1 week percent. These are ThinkScripts. I'll share them with you guys here just momentarily. A quick note on the ThinkScripts, folks. They're not guaranteed for timeliness or accuracy, but I found that we have really clean data coming to the platform, and as long as the data is right, well, ThinkScript is just mathematical, and so it should send out the right information, but just a quick note on that. Not guaranteed for timeliness or accuracy. So on that, you can see, hey, what's been the best performers over the last 1 year, the last 1 week. This is a ThinkScript. It doesn't come with the platform. We have to build it and provide it. So clicking on these, of course, we get to go in ascending and descending order. They're not quite loaded up yet. That's okay. We'll tell you right now, the worst performer, dang, almost down about 50% on the year. Even though there has been some recovery, it's actually up on the week. That is United Healthcare. Right there. Now, some of the best ones, as you go over here, yeah, I mean, look at CAT. I mean, these are up really, really quite high. Caterpillar, that is, and you can see some others loading up as well. Now, a quick note, once you get these pulled up, I'm going to share it right now so you have it. Edit formula. It pulls it on my other screen. I'll pull it up here right now here for us. There is the share. I'm going to go ahead and click on share right now and share it, and I'll throw that into the box for you, folks. This is the one that was requested. It is the 1 year. I'm just going to show you a quick way to adjust this. And let me actually make this specific here. So this is the 1 year percent. Very, very useful. Obviously, it's going to save you a ton of time. You know, if you're trying to calculate this and have it all on the chart, you know, you got your low and your high, and you're calculating this off of however many stocks, it's going to save you a lot of time. But there's the script right now. So I clicked on the share to do that. A quick note, if you want to change this to reflect anything else, folks, I could say over here a 1 month. I would just type it in over here, type in month. Now, what I would put over here is the number of market days. All you're adjusting is one little teeny section of it. There's roughly 200, it's almost exactly on 252 market days. Can you see that? It's actually quite small, but it's right there, 252. You've got another one to adjust right there. Now that, folks, is what makes this a 1 year. That's why it makes it reflective of a 1 year time frame. If I were to look at the 1 week, you know how many I'm going to have, right? I'm going to have 5 in there. There are 5 market days in a week, right? Trading days. If it was a 1 month, generally you're looking at about 21 days. Now, if I had 21 and I was doing a 1 month, I'd want to do this. I'd want to change it here. Of course, change it up top too. Change it here. And then I'd want to change so it reflects exactly what it is. It's the easiest, best way to find it. Yeah. So that it is a month. It says a month and everything lines up. So you just try to do it all at the same time. So it's there for you going forward. Okay. Now, how did I add this in? Once I gave you that link, you guys saw it at the bottom. And thank you, Kevin, for posting that in exactly. Just go to setup up top, go down to open shared items right here. And simply just paste that URL that I put in the chat. I'm just going to do a Control V here. I'm on a PC. Command V if you're on a Mac, but there you go. Click in preview, and very important, just note it down here exactly what it is. It will say this, but import the item as, just type in the name so you can find it. It's very descriptive. If you put it like as a 1 or a numerical, digit, it will list those at the top of the list, and then those are easy to find as well. So I would just type in here, 1 week percent or whatever it is I've saved. Click on import, folks. And then when you go into the market watch and quotes, custom right there, you're going to find it. It's going to be right over here on the left. And there it is. So you get characters and numbers at the top of the list, and then it just starts in alphabetical order right there. Okay? But that's how we also, I can provide you some of the ThinkScripts today. But today I actually want to show you how we can devise and design some scripts around momentum specifically, and a couple of these, or one of them is going to be a breakout with price as well, but it's so quick and easy to build. So let's do that next. All right. Yep. Hello, Riceberg. Exactly. But there's a whole lot of red today. Yeah, there is. Yes, there is. I shouldn't be laughing. There is. There's a lot of red. Laughing your little icons down there. But yeah, it is red, and you can see it coming down. And you'd see that, right? And see what's performing. And what's really interesting too, when you get this, I'll just state it this way: pull in the S&P 500 over here, good kind of homework assignment, and see what was up on the day. Great way to quickly find out where the momentum is on a weekday. Because sometimes when the market bounces back, the companies that are the strongest, and here's your 1 week right there, or even today, today's change is probably even better. You got that built in. You get to see what's really moving. Look at this: Walmart, McDonald's, totally different. Down here, more of the techs, right? Do you see it? So keep that in mind. Just your percent change. Awesome way to use that tool. Very, very effective, you guys. All right. So let's do this. How many of you guys here have used the condition wizard before? Because we are going to be doing a scan, and we can do it very, very quickly. It's a great way to actually learn the code as well. Let's start off with it right now. These, I think, are 3 core scans for momentum that we can do. They're all a little bit different, but many of you might have different sort of momentum indications that you want to look at. The first one I want to break down for you, though, is going to be a momentum indicator itself. Now, there are a list of these, and just so you know, many of you can take a look at these. You've got them over here under our studies. Look at this. If I just said add study, we've got a whole basket of these momentum indicators set up. In fact, there's so many, we have to categorize it right here. Look at this. The awesome oscillator, all the way down. You got the MACD. You got the there's a momentum indicator called momentum. So there you go, and all the way down the line. I do have one on my chart here, the RSI, and there's a couple of different ways to use this RSI. You can find that we've done a number of studies on RSI. Previous classes we've done here for divergence and other things too, but I wanted to keep it basic yet informative and helpful too. One of the ways that traders might use that RSI is right here. We'll use a sample stock example here. Here's Apple. Do you guys notice over here? And yes, okay. So a few people do use it. Over here, look over here with me with that RSI, relative strength index. So the RSI, does provide insight into closing prices over the prior 14 days. And what does that look like over that time frame? Right, looking at percentage closing prices, which is a big thing to look at. It's very important to look at closing prices for sure as we go through this. But you'll notice that we come down here and we get into this range, which is an oversold range, right? And what some traders will look for are companies that they think are strong for potential oversold ranges. In other words, a couple of different things. It's trading below 30, and importantly, there's an action going on. It's beginning to break up above 30. Could be very powerful, could be very challenging to do. There's another one over here as well. You got one to the left over here, a little bit of a fake out there. A little bit of a rally after, but it wasn't done, consolidating. This over here did spike. You can see a little bit of a spike over here. It's one reason why traders will look at these is for the oversold zones. Okay, now, obviously, this is just one component. You'd want to look at other factors as well. By the way, another one over here that I do know a lot of traders were looking at is right over here, a prior low. So notice you're getting a bit of a double bottom right there, right? At this point and this point. And so what could trigger for some investors an entry point would be a close above that level, above 30. In other words, busting through. That's a form of momentum off the bottom. And you can see what happened with that momentum right there, folks. It wasn't shy, was it? For a few days there, it was quite strong. it actually made a higher low and then rallied again. Now, again, going back to Riceberg, what he said there's some red out there. You're getting it on Apple as well, but you did see it right there. Okay, so we're going through an interesting phase here, and maybe eventually we can flip this around and say, guess what? It's breaking below 70 over here. Notice you were above 70 and you broke lower. Well, yeah, these can be interesting points too. Right here, a little bit of a dip. This is where some of your flags were on the upside. So the next thing we want to do is we want to zoom right over here. We're starting the process of building it right now. Okay, so scan tab. You can see over here what I've got. Stock Hacker. Now what I want to do is I want to go right over here because we want to scan for this across whatever basket of stocks I'm using. And you can see right there, scanning the S&P 500. And the reason why I'm doing that and not the NASDAQ is, well, Apple just kind of told us one thing. It's heavy weighted in tech. We're looking for bullishness with the broader market and maybe some of the sectors that we saw that were performing on the day, whatever those are. We'll be able to maybe spot those. We'll see where they might be at too. So that's an RSI. And first thing we want to do, just go to our add filter. We've got a study over here on the right-hand side. Let's click on study. You're going to need to do that first. It defaults to this ADX crossover. First things first, folks, click on that little pin. I'm just going to point to all these so you can see exactly where we're going right there. Okay, click on the pin, and then, it might put it, if you have two monitors, which I do, it'll put it on the second screen. Okay, that ADX is just a default. We are in the condition wizard, so all we need to do, first things first, is delete that. Let's add a condition in here right now. First condition is going to be the study. It is an RSI. It is an indicator. Now, if it was a value, I haven't really started off with a value just yet, but I have started off with price. I've done function, I think, once, but it's a study. Oh, what are our studies? There are all those indicators. Remember we showed you earlier where you could find a list of those momentum ones if there was one you liked specifically? Well, here's the RSI up top. Relative Strength Index. I'm going to keep the defaults. You want to change any of the original parameters in here, the length, the overbought zone, the oversold zone, folks, we can do it all right there if we wanted to, right? If we wanted to look at other indications here, I'm just going to keep it as a default. Now, remember, the other thing we were talking about is prices getting above that 30 line. Were we saying that prices are greater than the 30? Sure, that's one thing we were looking at, but it was more descriptive than that because prices could be at, all the way up to 70 or whatever. They could be at 70, and that's also greater than 30. So it's got to be more than just greater than. It's got to be an action. It's got to be crosses above, implying that it was below. Maybe there's a long upward trend. It was below, but we think that the trend might be resuming, and boom, right there. This is what we want. Okay, and maybe we want this to happen today or yesterday, a couple of days. We can give it a range. Now, it's going to be interesting to see because this implies momentum on an otherwise down day. You can spot some really interesting companies that might come up that might really bounce when the market comes back or whatever the case might be. It could happen. So crosses above is what we're after. Now, the next thing is, remember, on that sidebar, it's just a value. That's all we're looking at here. It's just a value. And what it was, because we know it's crossing above, it's just crossing above 30. Oh, my number locks weren't on. Sorry about that. There we go. So just above 30. And within how many bars? It could be 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar. I could say 10 bars, and it means any time within the last 10 bars. But in this case, let's just keep it really tight, really close. Now, you could find some that have already done it, but if I did something like 3 and tab over within the last 3 bars, I could make the case for looking at something like 10 bars, to be honest with you, because prices, if the RSI dipped down below here and broke up back up above, you might actually have time for the stock to make a what? A higher low after showing us signs and indications of a potential momentum reversal from oversold. Does 10 make sense? Sure. I'm just going to show you something that could be really, really short term, and then you can watch it also to see what in fact unfolds as well, right? Not that you want to watch it all the time, but I'm just saying when you do this, it can really give you a variation of what you want to do, what you want to look at. That's it. Look how simple that is. Now, if you wanted to know how ThinkScript coding can work, that's a quick way to do it. I mean, now it just shows you, this is if you wanted to do actual codes themselves. We did so many of those and got so deep over the last little bit, we even lost some folks, but including me, but yeah, it does get as deep as you want, but there you go. That is the code, Condition Wizard. It's as simple as this, folks. Once you have it in place, it's as simple. Click OK. One last thing to click on, that's scan right there. We had 14 companies that hit that over this time frame. And I want to look at a few of these and just see what's happened with them and just kind of give you guys a heads up so we can see it. So there's one, let's see. Okay, Paychex is in there, and so is MSCI. MSCI. Okay, so there you go. Do you see it dip down here? Okay. Very clearly, it dipped below 30, and it's spiking back on a down day. Now, that's a pretty big dip, okay? But one thing you can say is that's a big round number right there, too. 500. Sometimes stocks hold at 500, and lo and behold, keep trying to draw my straight line with my new mouse here. Folks, there's another 500 right there. Okay, and we bounced off this level. Oh, down here as well. We also did the exact same thing. These were like significant lows, and again, this could be something like a double. That's a U. Double bottom. There we go. A double type bottom here and here. Is it one that somebody could watch for other signs? And like what I'm saying is maybe, they wait for it to, okay, I'm following this. Maybe we'll come back up into the range up top here. Does it get a higher low here? Which is exactly what we got over here. Like I said, remember, it could have happened 10 days ago. We could have a lot more stocks to look at here. But I just wanted to highlight this because there's a lot going on behind the scenes when you do this. In other words, what am I doing? I'm not just looking at the RSI alone. I'm saying, what else is out there? Okay, this is, folks, another form of momentum, for short. Momentum, right? It's a momentum indicator. It's just the RSI. We have a lot that you can back test and take a look at. I showed you guys where to get that up in the studies, a list of momentum studies. There might be other ones as well. You can actually create your own indicator here too, if there's a specific one. We've done this before. We did an RSI on balance volume combination, different from the Chaikin money flow. We actually built one which acted a little bit differently. It had some things that were certainly different, some things the same. So you can do that on an indicator you build as well. But it's a great quick way to get it. And look how fast those results can be. I mean, they can be very, very quick. That what you're after is kind of interesting here, because as I look at this, a lot of these have been down today, which doesn't surprise me in these areas. But I'm also looking what's changing to the upside. AON. Let's just do this one real quick, and then we'll move on to our next set. Okay, well, that's a big downward move. Remember, it's earnings season as well. So, could it bounce back? Sometimes they do. You get these big sell-offs like this, and they fire back up. But I would say that this indicator too can be helpful when the market is generally in kind of a stronger trend, because it's these phases where the stock might go under that 30 and start to spike. Do you have to use 30? You do not have to use 30. We could simply change it to a 40. I've got to throw this out here, folks, because I've read this in several places, and I've found this to be generally true. In fact, one of the first indicators we built was the RSI going to 40. You know what 40 is? 40 is normally the uptrends. The 30 is really trying to pick up something that just got wasted. One way to say, it really got pounded hard, and now it might spike back up. But when you're dealing with going below, 40 and breaking above 40 or holding above 40, that's oftentimes where some of these bottoms will come in. They might hold up a little bit stronger. So it's a very interesting momentum indicator. There's no doubt about it. Let me just show you real quick while we're at it. Over here, case in point, I just threw out Apple as another example. Look over here with me, folks. And even the strongest trends could be about around 50. Oh, there's 50 right there. And normally 40 to 50 range. Look at this. Touch, touch, touch. What is that? That's the low on an upward trend. Do you see the versatility of a scan like this? Just based upon what it is you're after. These all kind of hit the bottoms of the flag pattern. Something I talk about quite a bit in my swing trade class. And by the way, Kevin Horner talks a lot about that too in his early morning class, Trader Talks. Great stuff that he's got there as well, off a whole basket of different companies. But there you go. All right, so that's RSI. Pretty cool stuff, folks. If you guys are finding value from this and it's informative for you, do me a favor, smash that like button if that's the case. And definitely consider subscribing to our channel, which is right over here, our Trader Talks channel. Love to have you guys on board. You can come over here in the playlist. You got a lot of great stuff from Kevin Horner himself right there. Right there. And others down here you'll find. There's my recent one I did with swing trading and class I teach on Tuesday. Kevin teaches in the mornings, though. Great stuff to get the day going. But yeah, you can also look over here too. But very easy to do. It's free to do. Love to have you guys on board if you're not already. While I'm at it, I should just say too, a quick note on X. If you want to follow us on X, Kevin Horner CS, Mike Fairbourn CS, folks. We post a lot of different posts about different stock setups, whatever the case might be, traders might be looking at, as well as financial updates too. I'm just going to throw this link into the chat. Kevin, be sure and post yours as well. But that is the X link right there. You can just click on if you're not already a subscriber. Many of you are. I should say followers, not a subscriber. All right. Well, on that note, we got to move forward here. Now we're going to talk about another key component that I think is really, really helpful. It came in with another request that we had, but that request was a little bit more in depth, and this class had already been planned out because, it's an event that draws in a few more folks that maybe not have seen this class, and so we don't have a chance to go through that one. But I'll tie it into our discussion here. That topic request was around these longer term moving averages, because that's another way to find price momentum. Many of you, you're familiar with the golden cross, right? Or whatever the case might be. We could just say anything. I'll even say this, like a 10 moving average crossing above a 40, or a 20 and a 50. You've seen that before. Another one that is really, really common is just breaking above the 200-day moving average. And wouldn't you like to know some companies that have been breaking above the 200-day moving average over the last couple of days? That's an area where it could represent bullishness above 200 and bearishness below. A whole lot of investors look at it that way, and a lot of institutions, as I've read, that's one of their core, they don't look at a lot of technicals, but that could be potentially an advantage for us that do. Right? They consider it bullish or bearish. So what's breaking above the 200? Another form of price momentum over an average. Okay, let's start with this right now. So I'm going to go back to my scan tab. I could add to this too and require it, but I'm going to go ahead and just X out of it, and we'll start fresh again. Still the S&P 500 over to the far right. It's a good way to keep learning it as we show 3 ways to do this. But over here to study. Right? Study, click on my pencil, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Right over here, let's go ahead and click on delete, add condition. And in this case, we're going to say price. Because again, what we're looking at is something like this. Price, that's my candlestick. And it is breaking above a 200-day moving average, implying that maybe, and some technicians look at this as well. Like we said, some institutions, I think I was reading, it's one of their biggest, if not their biggest, indication of bullishness versus bearishness. So it could attract a lot of eyeballs to it, is what I'm getting at, and we can get it quickly. So breaking above, how about this? 1 to 2 days. Clear sign of momentum, and so easy to do, but yet so valuable too. Price, closing price, crosses above. We just looked at it. It's another cross above. It's going to be a study, and it's just that simple moving average. Just type it in. Simple, easiest way. You could scroll down, but there's just a lot of these. So simple moving average. Let's use the big one. Let's use the biggie. Well, that a lot use, and it's big too in size and time frame. The 200. Okay, 2 bars right there. Tab through it. That's it. That's all we got to do. It does the rest for us. Click OK. It chunks and churns as we click on scan, going through 500 companies, looking for crosses above the 200-day moving average in the last 2 days. And that fast. Normally it takes about, I was going to say about a second, but no, that was more like 4 or so seconds. But it was fast, right? Still, there's a lot going on today. And you can see this. That's our 1-year time frame. But these are the companies that have done that right there. Now let's pull up some of these and let's just look and see. This is so valuable because it gives us important data to review too in terms of what's happening in the market. Today's a big down day in the markets across the board. In fact, how are we doing over here? We'll just reference our futures real quick. Look at that right there. Just at the top. Yeah, it's like 400 and 400. Okay. Yeah, so some of these are fairly big. You can see the percent changes over here. Not a small day to the downside necessarily, but we've got some companies breaking above the 200. They're right down here. Property and casualty, automotive retail, healthcare services, utilities, and some of these energy, transports, and utilities have been strong, as well as, I'll just say it, there's a lot of these that have really rallied up. Staples. I'm seeing Dr. Pepper in there just as soon as I said it. Staples, right? The consumer staples, also referred to as the consumer non-cyclicals. But yeah, you're seeing some of those in here too in healthcare. So anyways, let's look at, there's another one right there. So this is a consumer staple company, Mondelez, packaged foods and meats, right? I want to look at KDP as well, breaking above the 200. So let's do this. Let's just go ahead and add this in so we can see it and confirm it. Simple moving average. We'll get it. Oh, not that. That's a simple label. Simple moving average, but it is the 200. And we're going to make it nice and thick so we can see it. We'll do it, sure. We'll do something like this with a width of 5. Clear blue line, and okay again, and there you go. Now that's Apple, that's not Mondelez. We're looking for those. So Apple would have triggered right here, okay? Interesting time, maybe? Breaking above, which the 200-day, I don't know how it does it so often. It doesn't do it every time, but it has a very, look at that, I can almost draw with it. That's like, it's almost like drawing a resistance level, I should say. It's almost like a flat line. It broke above a high. And it got started when it took out its 200. And by the way, it blasted through, made a higher low, trend up, and that's really where the meat of that move came. Okay, that's what we're seeking. We're getting a lot out of this Apple example, but it does happen frequently enough, and that's why, it can be commonly used. MDLZ was the Mondelez, though. There it is. Ooh, I got a lot of goodies on this chart. I'm going to take some of these out, though. Let's just remove these drawings. Let's see, remove all drawing, clear drawing set. There we go. Just keeping our 200-day moving average in, and there you got it right there. Okay, it's just at this point, interestingly enough, it took out to get there a pretty interesting set of what I would call, it was support at the time, but if you can move above it, it becomes, the corollary to that, it can become support. Post-earnings, right? That's a post-earnings rally. Maybe some fundamentals are pointing in that direction. This group has been one of the stronger ones, but you can see right there, some strength, some real strength right there. RSI, strong to the upside too. Now, it isn't 70, true, but perhaps a higher low in a rally. Sometimes that RSI, you can see over here, in really strong conditions, it can continue to remain up above that 70 for a time. And so there you go. I did this one. I sent this tweet out. Let's see, it was last week. CLX, another one. Obviously, Clorox, consumer staple for sure. That was its 200. It continued to rally. It could be the start of a longer-term recovery. It certainly has good strength, good volumes there, and it's post-earnings as well. We had not seen that for a very long time, and that's sometimes how you get these coming off the bottom. Now, there was another one in here I wanted to pull up and take a look at for you guys. What was it? Oh, no, it wasn't there. I'm sorry. It was the scan. Yeah, right where we scanned it. Yeah. KDP is another one. And let's just go ahead and pull up, get some variety in here too. How about we'll do Southern as well as electric utilities. But first off, KDP and then SO. KDP. Ooh, right at it. Right there. Now, like I said, it's funny. It's really strange how often that 200 can come right in to prior resistance. And now what are we doing? We're above it. So can we break up above and hold that level? There is an earnings event that still needs to take place, but put something on your radar into a group that has begun to make higher low, and now a higher high. This is just an example of stock that we're going through, right? Just an example, but this is what a lot of traders might look for: strengthened trend, breaking above resistance. We'd have to go through a lot of companies to find this. Approximately 500 to find something maybe similar. This is the S&P 500. There's Southern right there. And how are we doing there? We're really busting above that level right now. That's a big day. On a big down day in the markets, this is a big up day. Just breaking above the 200-day moving average. In fact, if you come over here and look at this, yeah, there was resistance. That's significant resistance right there. And we held it for a few days too. We have another form of significant resistance right there, but we're breaking above that as well with the gap down right there. So this could represent the possible bottoming of Southern. Utilities, like I said, folks, have been strong. We'll discuss a lot of these sectors in that market and sectors class. That's actually tomorrow, where we break down different sectors, which give insight to stocks as well. It's interesting how that happens. By the way, these guys do have some earnings popping up over here as well. All right. Well, we're going to save kind of the more in-depth one for last, because right now we've just been using a form of indicators. A moving average is sort of an indicator in a lot of ways. The RSI clearly is with price action. But what can be really, really interesting too is just to net out those, get those out of the way, and say, well, what is actually happening with prices themselves? Can we do that fairly quickly? It's a little more advanced on Condition Wizard, but not much for what you're getting. Really, it's quick. And that is something like this. How about a 50-day new high or a 20-day new high is very, very common too. Instead of an indicator, which we had no indications over here, RSI or otherwise, we don't have it. But that would be a breakout right there. Let's take a look at it right now. The last one we've got. Again, if you guys are finding value from these discussions, just smash that like button. Lets me know, so as my manager, that this information is informative and useful for you guys. All right, we'll continue this though each and every week as we go forward. All right, let's kill it right now. And we're going to use another technical indicator to help us. One of the keys that we've found with doing ThinkScript is instead of creating your own indicator, you can do a lot of things that you really want to do, that you're after, just by using existing indicators. And we've got one of those right over here. Let's go through our same process again. Scan tab Stock Hacker, right-hand side study, click on the pencil, pull it up right now, delete this, add a condition in the Condition Wizard. And what we're going to be talking about here is actually price. It's price that's going to be breaking above closing price, and it's going to be crossing above an indicator, but the indicator is referencing price data. It doesn't have its own calculation. It just simply looks at prices. So price breaking highs. This is really interesting for a momentum breakout. We kind of got a little bit of that on our last discussion with the 200-day, but this is price breaking above price. It is a study, and it's called a price channel. You might have seen it as a Donchian channel. Here we just call it the price channel. And all we're simply looking at is a lower band or an upper band. Am I bullish on the day? Do I want to look at bullish trades or bearish trades? Well, today we're still looking at bullish. We could easily do bearish though with one click. That's all it is right there. And I'm going to show you this. How about a 20 period. That's the default. I could do 50. I could do 100. There is a group out there, that had been talked about a lot, and they looked at like a 20 period and a 50 period. I did a little bit of a class on that too previously. They were known as the turtle traders, but it's just an approach that was used by them. So I'm just saying there can be a number of different ways to look at it, but that's specific to prices breaking above a range. It's not just one group. There are a lot of different groups that do it. I'm going to say within the last 2 bars right there. 2 bars. Okay. It's a really cool feature there too. I click on save. Look at that. All it is, really, when you put it in the code, just so you know, you're just typing in within 2 bars. Look how simple this is. Close, crosses above, price channel, upper band within 3 bars. When it's set like this, you're just using the default. If I wanted to change it to a different one, I could put in 50 right there and it would change it. Okay. That's it. Now I'm going to scan this, but before I get the results, we're going to go over here. I'm going to take this one off so you can see what I was talking about. We'll take off everything except the price channel. And there it is right there. So you can visually confirm and see what it's delivering here for us. Let's see the lower channel. I'm going to just take that off. So I'm going to take the show plot off. We'll do the upper band. Fine. We'll do a little bit more of a width in there, but we'll just keep the style as a flat line, a solid line. Click OK, and there you go. Okay, now let me describe this right now because this is the 20, and it's going back 20 bars until you make a new high. Now, if I were to do something like a 100, so it says over the last 20 bars, what was the high? Well, that's the high right there over the last 20 bars. And is that a breakout? Yeah, it is. It's a breakout over this little range here. If I want to see the big breakout range, it'd be a 100 right over here. The 100. I just keep pulling that price data back in time to get these longer term breakouts. But right now we're doing that. What results did we get? Wow, we got 98 of them breaking higher over the last 2 days. That might be a lot. Let me just do one quick adjustment. I'm going to go back into my folder and edit it. I'm going to say within 1 day right there. And we're going to click on save. We wouldn't be getting this on the NASDAQ, by the way, and no chance. We're going to see a lot less here. So these are breakouts today. And look at this. Utilities. Oh my gosh. A lot of those. Household products. CL's in there. Colgate, Palmolive. As opposed to Clorox. Look at this. Did it break above the range? Over the past 20 days, that was the high range. That's what it's telling us. Now, when it's flat over here, that was for a long time the highest high over the last 20 days. Did we end up breaking it? Yes. If we were running this scan over here, folks, we would have nailed that one right there. Do you see that? We would have caught that one. Now, it's all in hindsight, true, but it still would have delivered that for us because that was the 20-day break range. Now, I could do a longer one. It's definitely going to give you the strength. By the way, another indication of strength in this group. We've been tracking for a little while in the swing trade class. All right. All right. Yeah, thanks, Wiley. Yeah, folks, if you are finding this effective, helpful, it's going to be here for you. I'm going to get each and every one of these listed here. Folks, now you guys know how to build these in this class, right? And I wanted to specifically show you how to build them so you could use the condition wizard to set this up. By the way, that pharmaceuticals is in there as well. But today, folks, I think we basically accomplished what we were after. 3 simple momentum scans for beginners. But when I say simple, maybe really effective as well. A lot of different ways to tie this information into your existing technical analysis to help you spot things on the market, potential trading ideas, or possible opportunities out there that you might be looking for in the markets. And so that is what we address for you today. I will take a look at, there was some good questions that came through, but I had to keep focused in on our discussion to get through it. But great to have you guys on board with us today. Always, Kevin, thanks so much. There is a survey in the chat, and Kevin has posted that in there. Thank you, Kevin. Let's see. And the survey, yep, that is listed there as well. I think it's just a couple of questions. Yeah, I look at that. My manager looks at that. If there's any points you guys want to make, there's a section down there as well. But great to have you all on board. you guys now know how to build 3 of these momentum scans pretty quickly in ThinkScript to spot momentum. On that note, everybody, have a fantastic rest of the day, and I'll look forward to future discussions next week. Take care, all.